solutions of the future need to take into account the finiteness of uranium, because I mean, we mine uranium out of the ground. There's only a certain amount of it in the ground, and in the end we're going to have to look at what we're going to do after that. Technologically speaking, I'm sure we can develop ways of making it more efficient than that, but surely the same can be said of renewable energy, and with renewable energy there isn't the ultimate cut-off point that there will be with uranium. I'd just like to say, in 2001 the European Commission said that the current level of uranium consumption would exhaust known uranium resources in the next 42 years, and with military and secondary sources this could be expanded to 72 years. This is just the known ones, and they're not at full capacity yet, well, there obviously are unknown ones out there, but remember that nuclear is only a small fraction of the global energy market at the moment. If we seek to expand that, obviously the use will go up a lot higher. Probably gone a bit there. Just the next bit is yes, on the cost of energy. Amory Lovins and Imran Sheikh have calculated that a kilowatt hour of electricity from a nuclear power plant costs 14 cents. Compared to wind farm, this is 7 cents, so half of it. The graph just this page showing is how much has been invested, and the cost might be invested in nuclear fission. So it's been around for a long time. I'd just like to point out it's got a good head start. It's been well established, and it has a lot of problems, and it hasn't really achieved the breakthrough that you might expect it to achieve given the funding and the backing. Yes, so I'll just finish off by saying that we're not advocating the immediate dismantling or decommissioning of nuclear power stations. I think it's much more important that we go after oil and gas and reduce our emissions first and have a sustainable energy market setup. But I think that focusing on building up nuclear isn't the way forward. And just in the next opposition speech, Michael will talk about the alternatives. Thank you.
Next here we're going to have the proposition speak again. Korea is going to speak on nuclear fission, safety, waste and fusion.
Hi guys and girls. I'm here to just basically talk about fission, its safety, and of course its waste. Now, fission is basically a big atom such as uranium-235 or plutonium-239, breaking it into smaller parts. And usually the products are something like, let's say, rubidium or cesium. Also, 3 neutrons will be bound with it. Now, if you ask me how does that give you energy, it's basically because if you add up all the mass of all the products, that is rubidium, cesium, and all 3 neutrons, it will be lower than the uranium-235 that made it. Now, this difference in mass is turned into energy, and we can calculate that by using Albert Einstein's famous equation E is equal to mc squared, where c is the speed of light and m is the change in mass of that specific mass, and E is the energy. So nuclear fission, that's what we have at the moment, is quite good because it gives quite a lot of energy from a small amount of material. Now, my colleague over here explained that uranium may run out within 72 years. What he forgot to mention is that that's the amount you have on the Earth's crust, or where you can dig up. What he forgot was that you get uranium from the seawater. There's basically enough uranium over there, even if you take into consideration the exponential growth we have of human using up the energy, it'll still last for 160,000 years. So it's not going to be a problem of we running out of uranium, but it'll be a more problem of how we'll take care of the waste that's produced with it. Now, I'll go into next to just see how a power plant basically works. It's simple, just a neutron hits a uranium-235, breaks it up. The other 3 neutrons again can go and hit 3 different things. One of them being another uranium-238, which will absorb it, and then later on it'll change to uranium-239, and then it'll again decay into plutonium-239, giving out electron and the anti-neutrino. Secondly, the neutron could go and clash into a controlled road. Now, controlled roads are basically roads that help you to control the reaction. Just keep it as whatever speed you like it to be. And they are mainly built of boron. And thirdly, the basically continuing the process, producing another 3 more neutrons, then keep on producing that reaction. So that's kind of how a reaction actually works in a nuclear power plant. Next thing what we can go into is basically what people ask about what if it explodes. I mean, what if a nuclear explosion happens in a nuclear power plant? Well, the answer for that is it's impossible to have an explosion in a nuclear power plant. The reason is because, first of all, when you dig up uranium out of the ground, it has only 0.72% of uranium-235. Rest of it is uranium-238, which is not much use. And then later on, they have to enrich it to make it around 4 to 6% uranium-235, so that they can use it in a fuel rod. But that's not enough to make an explosion. That's far from enough. So it's literally impossible to make it. But then, accidents have happened. How did that happen if you can't have an explosion? Well, there's around 6 accidents that has happened, or major 6 accidents between 1952 and 1999, I believe. And one of the famous ones is the Chernobyl during 1986, April 25 or 26 maybe. And it was in Ukraine, but during that time it was part of the Soviet Union. Now, of course, it affected Eastern Europe, Western Europe, and Southern Europe. Well, actually not Southern, Eastern, Western, and Northern Europe, and also parts of the Soviet Union. And it was a real big disaster. The truth is that there was no nuclear explosion over there. Basically, this is what happened. First of all, there was an experiment that was about to run in that power plant, and so they actually removed all the safety precautions. Also, the operator reduced the amount of rods, the control rods that is there in the reactor, basically to control it. The minimum level of around 30 rods, he reduced it to amount below 10. And then this resulted in heat to be produced, so basically nuclear reaction continued and heat kept on being produced. It resulted in the steam that took the heat away to get at a higher pressure than exploded due to pressure, and it actually broke off the top of the core. Now this was an issue. I mean, the core broke, so what, it's still in a big shield. The problem is that the steam went in contact with graphite which is there inside the core. And graphite is carbon and reacted with the oxygen in the steam to produce carbon monoxide, which is flammable. And with the carbon monoxide and the heat, it ended up with an explosion. And with it, it carried the nuclear material with it, unfortunately. Now, to that would not have happened in a Western power plant. The simple reason is because the core is actually contained in a big steel vessel. And so even if the steam went there, it won't get in contact with graphite. So, in truth, no explosions have happened, or no nuclear explosions have happened in a power plant. It's just human error all the time that's making these problems. The next big thing we have with nuclear is the waste, and it's a big thing. It'll just keep increasing exponentially. I mean, we are using it all the time. So we have to find ways on, somehow getting rid of it. At the moment, the best choice we have is dig it up, put it inside the ground. But of course, we can't put it anywhere we like. We have to take care and make sure it's not near any fault lines, to make sure no earthquake is there. Also, shouldn't be any low sea level areas to make sure no flooding comes through. Other thing is make sure there's no underground water, so that by any chance it won't get contaminated. And the third reason is make sure no terrorists get the hand on the waste, as it is dangerous. Now, UK and Britain, they are working on a new way of basically using that fuel again. So the fuel rod. In truth, we only use 1% of the nuclear uranium-235 inside a fuel rod each time we do it. And it's economically better because uranium is so cheap. But since we want to reduce the waste, UK and Britain, or UK and France is actually reusing that fuel rods through chemical reactions, and so they can reduce the waste. But of course, at the end of the day, there is waste, even though it's reduced. And at the moment, we have to find alternative methods. A few things that people think of is, why don't we shoot it into space? The simple reason is it could come back to us if it hits a meteorite. It would be a complete disaster. And second thing is, why don't we send it to the sun? At least it will take